All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Wotakoi, OVA number 1.
All right, so we got a little bit more after this show's first season. Yep. It's kind of nice because there was no, definitive
finale.
Plot finale of sorts. So we've been introduced to recently Ko. And
she's adorable.
Seeing Ko and now get a little bit more to know each other has been really sweet and stuff. Yep. So now we have a 3-couple kind of dynamic at different levels of relationship, connection, and time spent with each other in the show.
Yes.
So we can go and jump between the 3 of them and see where all those things are happening. And
exactly. Explore whatever the hell the show wants to. And that's one of the things that I love about this show, because since it's just so sort of slice of life and adorable and wholesome and wonderful and stuff, there doesn't need to be any big major conflict. If there's going to be OVAs and stuff, it's perfect.
Yeah. And given that this is OVA 1 of 2, this could be either an OVA where it's just a single, little contained episode, or with its own
first
thing there.
First of a two-parter, or...
Yep. But I have been told that it's more of just a continuation.
Gotcha.
It's nothing that is fillery or anything like that.
Well, and that's what's wonderful about this show, because why would they even need the concept of filler, right? Because there doesn't need to be a lot of tie-in from
there could be things
that
directly contradict characterization and stuff.
Sure.
That's why
that's
it's
always possible.
Important to know that stuff. But without further ado, let's get into this. Of course. Wow. Oh, what?
2.5D.
2.5D?
Okay. Oh, okay.
That's cool. So it could be like a stage play of sorts?
Or a live dubbing, or...
Oh.
Ah. Wow. Of course.
Oh, is it? How so? Yes! Wait! Wait!
Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
This is straight up a Haikyuu episode. Watch.
Wait. Oh, really?
Wow. Yes, tell us more.
I love it. Yes.
Okay.
I am so down.
I am ready. Please give us details.
Indeed.
Copious details.
Yeah. And before we find out that Kabakura is actually just grown-up Hinata. And that this backstory is just Hinata in his 3rd year at high school.
Right. Then when did Hinata turn out to be an asshole?
And get tall.
Oh, that too. No. He's, if anything, like some random team that, had to deal with Karasuno's, rise to dominance, And he's like, ugh. Widescreen, yes. She's big, is what? Why? Oh! Wow. Shit! Wow.
Damn.
私もできればこんな手段を取りたくなかったんですけど。
Come on.
これって樺倉先輩ですよ。
Oh! Oh! That animation!
バックアップは自宅の PC に取ってあります。他の部員にも知ってもらいましょうか。どうしますキャプテン。
What will he do?
ちゃんと脅しになるか自信なかったんだけど。
It was super effective.
オタクにそれやっちゃダメでしょ。
私は忘れてねえからな。おめえがバラした日のこと。
コウ君。
Oh, Ko!
Hey!
こんにちは。
私も相当怖かったのよ。
Watch, this is gonna spill over into Narumi and Hirotaka backstory as well.
Yeah.
この書類なんですけど。
He still has like trauma from that time.
Exactly.
He's always like defensive. He's like,
And he didn't even intend to be.
Oh my
to be
God,
scary
wait.
there.
From his perspective now.
Yeah. Yes. No wonder he calls her a hag. I mean, called her a hag before then, but
Right.
damn.
1年の頃あんな気の強い子だったか。3年いなくて2年でキャプテンだからな。
Oh, that sucks.
わかるけど張り切りす
And
ぎだ
that's how
よ。
he knows.
Well, just the idea that she has no third years on their team. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
肩書きがどんだけ重いか。ジャージー、超張り切ってたよな。わかる。あれは重たそう。わかる。
I get you. Oh my God.
Is he gonna watch how they practice?
Oh, she's the only one practicing.
Damn.
ずいぶん真面目な盗撮魔なんだな。
樺倉先輩。帰ってアニメ見なくていいんですか。
ぶっ飛ばすぞ、ブス。アドバイスしてやろうか。
What was that voice? That
あなたが
voice.
先輩面するところなんて見たくないんで。
Yeah, look at me picking up
Right.
the ball with one hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not in his athletic wear, you know.
Boom.
Kakoi.
Oh,
Yeah, and socks
yeah.
on a gym floor. That's
Yeah, that's impressive.
Uh-huh.
That's very dangerous. Yes.
お前みてえな下手くそと違う。
Wow.
今の。
Ah!
なんて聞いてないし。
お前さっき先輩面すんなって。
先輩は後輩に教えるもんでしょ。
Oh!
Okay.
すんきれだな。その代わり。
But maybe once she gets to a certain point of skill with it.
取ったりしねえって約束したろ。
Oh. Oh, that face!
ですよ。
Okay.
先輩、もう一回言って。
いや、シューズが。
いいから。
No, it really does matter. Okay.
Yeah.
二人は自然と恋人。
No, no.
No, no.
No, no, no. It took time.
Wait a
I'll
minute.
bet.
2人が付き合い出したの。
On his graduation
からっ
day.
て言ってましたよね。
So it would have been at the end of the year after they've been practicing for at least a few months.
どっちから告白したの。
俺は小柳さんに1票。
いや、さすがに告白は先輩から行くんじゃない。きっと超かっこいい。
Wow.
花ちゃんのハードを射止めたんだ。
You can totally see the psychology behind why they want it to be a different person.
仕事
Oh
が
my
後輩を見て
god.
後輩かっこ私のミスをさりげなくフォローする男気もある。
なんか知ってるから。
Yeah.
It's not Kabakura.
で怖い。
Uh-huh.
なるって不女子な上に夢女子っていう業の深いオタクだから。
最後の最後まで素直になれなさそう。伝説の木の下に呼び出したのは小柳さんの方だって。
本当の気持ちを
No,
手紙に
no
したた
way.
めて。
本当に大事なことを手紙で伝えるなんて。
Yeah. Hell
No,
no.
what I think
It's not
happened,
secure.
Koyanagi probably didn't want him to leave to go to some other school.
Well, yeah, Koyanagi probably did it because he was
Because
about to leave.
Because he's a year ahead of her, probably.
Yeah.
小袋さんは小袋さんは
Oh my god.
小袋さんだよね。
He's himself?
Yes, tautology.
Yes.
それはね、続きはおかわりの後でね。
You
Oh,
tease!
okay. All right.
個人練習を見てもらったり、そんな
Nice.
日々が続いて。
バーンってトス投げて。
Ah! Wait, he is kind of like Hinata!
Yeah. Just a pissed older Hinata.
下手か教えるの。
なんだとブス文句あんなら一人で特訓しろや。
部活後の練習に付 付き合ってくれるの。先輩の引退試合も近いし、ちゃんと教えてもらいたいんです。独自の練習法とかあるんですね。
これは
あるんでしょう。
マジで俺の感覚だし。
いいから言えよ。
Yes! Yes! Tommy fly high!
I love it.
IQ.
There we go. No,
No.
it's important.
別に俺と全く
You haiku fanboy. I know it is.
No, it's like Clanad.
お前の好きな曲でいいんだ。好きなアニメのオープニングは？
アニメあまり見てこなかったので。
Liar.
Yeah.
明るくない
She
し。
mostly
で
reads
も
BL.
子供の頃に好きだったアニメとかあんだろ？好きな声優さんが歌ってるキャラソンは？
なんですそう。
What's
Oh,
that?
wow.
そっか。
Very
Oh.
different kinds of otaku.
なんか本当オタクなんだなこの人。こんな外見なのに。ど
But
う
what
して
was
ア
she
ニさんな
doing
んで
in
す
that
か？
shot?
かっこいいからに決まってる。
Ah!
お前は知らねえだろうがな。
Look how goofy he
主
is.
人公が反撃するときにオープニング曲が流れるっていう
Yes!
演出があって。
Ah.
So I guess 8 years ago he wasn't as much of a cute girls doing cute things show.
俺が主人公がヒーローになった気分になるっつうが、どんな球も拾えるって思う。
He's a shonen junkie.
体は
Yep.
己の限界を超えて動く気がするし。
But then he becomes a moe guy, like,
Right.
eventually.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing.
Yep.
奇跡だって起こせる。内緒な。かっこ悪いから。
She's
No,
like, that
she's
was
like-
awesome.
You just expressed your purest
Yep.
self right there.
And that was probably when she realized she liked him.
バレー部は例年秋の大会で引退。
Oh.
大会が終わると同時に
Ooh. Nice receive. Wow, it really, really, like... Oh! Yeah, when you see stuff like this, you realize how amazing the Haikyuu animation is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, whoa.
He looks up at her. Oh.
No way. No way.
ブス顔。
Oh, that's so romantic. What the heck? That really what happened? Not some like idealized
Yeah.
like image of it?
今日が過ぎればそれでおしまい。
Oh, damn.
Wait, is he about to cry?
なんですその格好は。だらしない、みすぼらしい。
言い過ぎだろ。さっきそこで後輩連中に捕まってな。ネクタイやらブレザーやらジャージやらクレッツーから全部やったんだよ。
マジまで。
Even his sweats.
モテる
Yeah.
んですね。意外です。
全員男だ。言わせんなバカ。
もらえるものが残ってないじゃない。
Oh, come on.
どういうつもりだ。まさかてめえ、あの画像まだ消してないんじゃねえだろうな。
Oh my god.
消しましたよ。画像についての話がしたいなんて一言も書いてます。
That might not be the secret she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
最後に今までの文句言わなきゃ気が済まねえからわざわざ
No,
こうして呼び出した。
wait.
部活中はずっとストレスだったんだから。今日で
Is she
その
gonna
悪人
reverse
面を見なくて
confess?
済むと思うと。
ようやく今日で最後だ。今日でお前とくだらん喧嘩しなくて済むかと思うと俺はちょっと寂しいかな。文句言いながら結局最後まで視聴したアニメの最終回を見終わった時の気分だな。
Hey, that's the closest thing to poetry he'll ever give you, you know?
先輩のそういうとこ、かっこ悪いだなんて思ったことないよ。自信を持って新しい環境でも
Wait, so they lied? They didn't get together?
No, but then there's the
振り返らず。
no, it's the turnaround thing.
Uh-huh.
We might not even get to see it.
きっと
Which one actually turns around first?
今日のことを
Yeah!
一生
Yeah! Oh!
Okay.
Oh!
right,
They
all right.
both did!
Yep.
ちなみにこれが
Oh.
イラッピラピラッツ
だって 二人が聞きたいってせがむから。
抱き寄せるなんて見直しましたよ、鎌倉先輩。ちなみに
Yes, build up his ego.
アニソン脳内再生してます。
メイトじゃないけどゲーセン寄ったりはしてましたよ。
先に振り返って抱きついてきたのはこいつだからな。
Still can't agree about it.
逆だろ。つかそんなにアニメの話ばっかしてねえから。
Wow.
ついでに言うけど、ダンバレの先輩たちも。
なんでそれを今言うんだよ。お前は。
小柳さんが見せようとしてたのって。
What is it?
ほら、そろそろ行くぞ。おめえの推しが豆粒みたいな小ささになっちまうぞ。
全席指定だから開演までに着けば問題ないの。
そんなん聞いてねえし。
What was
Yeah.
what was on the phone? Was it the same photo? There's no way
don't
it's the same
know.
photo.
Oh my god.
It was the same photo.
No, she can't bear to delete it. She's like,
Oh.
this is how it all started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
そうなの。
Seeing him in his element and everything.
And in high school, yeah.
Yep, yep. Oh, that's so cute.
No.
All right.
Love it.
I love it. That was awesome. Yeah. By her sending him that note,
Right.
that's... Oh, man, I love it. Because, no, the secret that she knew was not that he was a nerd. It was that he liked
That
her.
he liked her, yeah.
And he would never be able to say that, right?
Right.
Like, so she basically set him up for it.
Right.
Right? But at the same time, there was, like, also maybe that thing of where she wasn't being fully honest with herself.
Yes.
And maybe also wanted him to actually be the one to say it first, you know?
Right.
And, you know, in the end, they didn't actually know who acknowledged it first. And it wasn't actually acknowledging with words.
Right. Nice.
Oh my god. I loved this so much.
This was
like
the perfect
as-
OVA.
Yeah,
oh my
it
god.
really was. Like, as far as, like, with the thing that I said of, like, this show is geared towards OVAs, this is also, like, the perfect
kind of OVA,
kind
it's
of
geared
OVA to
for,
give.
yep.
Like, because
Yeah.
there's always the whole idea of, like, well, okay, if you're gonna have something that's fairly, like, separate from the rest of the story as far as, like, airing time and things like that,
Yep.
you don't want there to be need to be a lot of context of, like, do you remember the events of the last episode that was,
Sure.
you know, potentially, like, a year ago?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
no. Just have it be backstory, right? It's perfect, right? And the episode itself was wonderful and great and things like that, and it held to the things that we love about this show while at the same time adding in a new flair and flavor because you know, these are the characters from 8 years ago. They're very different, but.
What I really love about this was that they really went all in on the backstory because there was a part of me that was kind of surprised that Ko was using a scene to just show up and sit down at the coffee place. That was pointless. Like there was literally 0 points to it.
It's we're contractually obligated to have every voice actor.
Exactly. That was basically what it was, of some kind of structural thing of just making sure that every character was at least present at one point in the episode. But having the entire episode's basically runtime being them sitting in the not Starbucks and then having the full backstory of not just how they, like, because they had met, I believe, like, prior to that, but it just been like, oh, this is how they had started their love story. But it was from the perspective solely Hanako, which I really like because there's a lot of ways in which you can tell that, like, she never really made any mistakes, really, in her version of the story.
Right.
Like
you can have that
everything
bit
she
of
did,
unreliable narrator.
everything that she did, you're like, oh yeah, I'm 100% on his side. He's being kind of an asshole. Like, what the heck? And,
well, I mean, yeah, she did fight dirty towards with the whole picture thing.
I mean, sure.
But yeah, she kind of had to.
No. But I think in some ways, like, she was essentially dealing with someone who was a bully. She said, I didn't want to do this.
Nope.
Because, I mean, I will say, one of the most annoying things from a team sports perspective is having a space that's supposed to be publicly accessible be dominated by people that are using it, and they're not even really using it to its fullest. Like, they could totally make room for people to
They just
use
don't
it.
want to.
They just don't want to because they're lazy. That is the most annoying thing.
And I gotta say, also, I think it was a good choice to have the perspective character for the most part be Hanako, because the little bits that we got from Kabakura's perspective of like him running with the guys and things like that, that's probably the most interesting stuff we could get from Kabakura in this backstory, right? Because
maybe I have some addendums to that.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure that those are there, and now that I say it, I'm starting to think like, all right, there's some ways that they could have made it interesting.
The confession, the buildup of seeing the note. And what does he think when he sees the note?
Well, right, because
I wanted to see him where he's like, is it about... No, it's not that. It's not that.
Right.
No,
Kabakura, I'm sure,
Focus.
would be so clueless for most of the time that could be part of the comedy of it.
But there's a difference between tact, like his lack of tactfulness,
and his lack of observation.
And his lack of observation. Those are different. I don't think his observational skills are actually that bad.
Right. His observational skills are not 0.2. His tactfulness, yes, is 0.2.
Right.
His observational skills are still very
probably
low.
like 3.
Or maybe 2,
But the point is that I think he thought probably a little bit about what was maybe going on. Because he knew that he liked her.
Yeah, like he just might not have wanted to admit that to himself or acknowledge that because,
Or maybe not just confess that. There's a difference between when you tell that someone like makes you like have your heart throb and stuff like that, and you're like,
well, I
can tell I like her.
She's got a great rack is the thing.
Right, exactly. And you can simplify it down to like base attraction and things like that. But I think when it came down to it, at that point, he knew he liked her already.
Right. It's just he's not going to do anything about it because
for whatever reason. That's why I would have loved to have some aspect of it be his perspective, despite the fact that we got the most of it being from Hanako, because she is the one that would give, I would say, the best perspective by far.
Right. And I love the arguing between Narumi and Hirotaka about like how they think it went down. Because Narumi is of course like, oh no, but imagine if Kabakura was a totally different person that still had his same physique and profile and everything. Oh, that would be so hot, right?
Shoujo manga protagonist.
Exactly.
Or shoujo manga, other main character.
Right, main love interest and all that.
Interest,
oh yeah, he'd definitely do the confession, heartfelt and all that stuff. And
Kabakura senpai.
Right. Yeah. And Hirotaka's just like,
who is that?
What? Yeah, no. It's like, well, he could put it in a letter. I don't think he would let something like that be in a letter. That's potential evidence that could be used against him.
I also just love the way in which we build up to the actual confession, because the idea that we know that they confess at some point after, like directly after they graduate, I was worried that there might have been a little bit of a white lie involved in that, and that it was like, oh no, the thing that was rough was that it was directly after from the perspective of an adult, but for them maybe it was like a week after, and they both had to like stew in the fact that they both missed their opportunity or something.
Right, and then it's the midnight 30 text when you're like,
I wish I had something I wanted to say to you after you graduate, but I right. I was like, I did too.
Yeah, and then it makes for much more realistic, but much less romantic. Of a story, right? Because the fact that Narumi was like, oh, the fact that a fictional couple pairing like that could exist in real life, it's like, wow, that's meta.
Yeah, that is really meta.
But then the idea that Hanako leaves the note. This is something that is totally like plays things up for the romantic tension and whatnot, and I really like it from the storytelling perspective. Yes. But at the same time, I could see this actually happening in real life, where you have someone that's like, okay, I want to confess, but I don't know if I can screw up my courage to do it. So I'm going to be kind of vague. I'm going to leave a note that basically says, hey, let's talk. There's something, etc., which gets them there. And she still kind of chickens out and doesn't say it, right?
That's very realistic.
That's very realistic.
Especially and then for high schoolers. Yeah.
Right, and then he starts to leave, and this is the part where it gets a bit maybe unrealistic, but at the same time, this is the...
I mean, there were peach blossoms falling from the sky everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
This was already getting romanticized.
Well,
No.
Graduation in Japan, it would have been around March, or April,
I'm
something
totally
like that.
with you. And that's, I think, the part where it's not important whether or not it's idealized. But the fact that afterwards he's like, it didn't go exactly like that.
Right.
He's like, let me put my perspective into this. And she's like, I didn't know you start fighting again.
Right.
It's adorable.
Yep.
But I love that because then it's not important about those minor details. Just knowing that from some perspective of this, there were some things that were heightened and maybe stretched a little bit.
But the important thing is that when they started to leave, right?
Yes.
Because up through this is like, yep, I could totally see this happening.
Yeah.
The leaving the note that gives you an out, that this isn't a confession or anything, it's something completely different. That good job to both of them for turning around, because what I would see as being more likely is that neither turns around or one person turns around, and then they see that the other person isn't turning around, even if the person maybe wants to or whatever, and then nothing happens.
But see, the twist is that if we had gotten Kabakura's perspective, he's like, I am well versed in shonen, in shoujo manga tropes. So immediately once she did this, he's like, did she pull that shit? Is she really trying to pull that shit? And he's like watching her the whole time. He's like, she is. And then once she hesitates and stops, he like turns and like zooms over, and he's like, boom.
No, see,
now
what it actually was is he's like, I really like this girl, but I don't know if she likes me. She totally doesn't. Yeah, no, it's probably for something else. Like it's, totally doubting his own feelings and not wanting to like be real to himself or to her or anything like that. Right. But then it's like, nope. This is, I can't do it. All right. Shonen anime theme music. All right. Yeah. Turn around. Yeah. That's definitely how I see it going down for him.
Yeah, I really, really loved the full turd into it, because it was a follow-up on the moment after he lost the game and she came up to him and was crying. That's my favorite scene in the OVA.
Yep, same. It was so good.
I think that one of the things that they threw a little bit of like a little bit of a montage-y aspect to this was the practicing.
Oh,
and,
sure.
Usually, when you have a shared passion or activity together with a person, you bond in a way that is potentially deeper than just we're spending time together, because you align your focuses towards a third-party kind of thing or person or whatever, and there's a shared like empathy or some kind of thing where you understand the feelings of the other person, but that makes you more comfortable with expressing your feelings about the thing. But because you're both so tied directly to the thing, it loops around.
It confuses you and tricks you into that.
Into sharing the feelings with each other. Right. So then when she's crying about the game, it's not some romantic like thing. It's a real shared thing of her empathizing with his feelings in this.
Yep.
And she's just like, you tried.
Right.
You went
she's
so
crying
hard
when he
here.
isn't.
Exactly. She's doing this for him, but also because this hurts her.
Right.
Seeing him so much in pain and not being the kind of person that's willing to express it. So,
and then
when he then extends out his hand to her to basically pull her in and then wipe away her tears and stuff, that's when it becomes somewhat romantic, because he's basically saying, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. It's like, come here.
Right. It's this is not about volleyball.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And that's
the connection.
That was so good.
That's so good.
Because you could totally see Kabakura being the kind of person, because of his weaknesses, where he just takes the bottle and he's like, well, thanks,
Or like, next year, maybe.
Don't worry. No,
because this is third year, but more like, let me finish this. It's like, like, next year, I'll come and cheer you on, Like,
right, yeah, something like that. Yeah. But this is the side of him that kind of we need to see to know why Hanako really likes him, and that Kabakura, while he is a baka, Bakakura, right? he's not just a baka.
No.
Right? That's the view that people get from the outside, because for the most part he is, but there's a part of him, and a very important part of him, that is not, right? That understands these kinds of things. And when he sees her tears, he doesn't reach for the water bottle, he wipes away the tears. You know. That's how they know it's real.
Exactly.
Right? And
that's the kind of man he is, yeah. And I really like also just this slight kind of subtle little thing that I didn't really feel like was worth necessarily mentioning in the actual like reaction part of it, but there's this bit of when he goes, "This is the feeling I get when I'm watching anime I like," and she gives him kind of the look of like, you can see very clearly that this is not just a like, let me zoom in a little bit. You can tell that this is not just like a straight like smirk of just like,
no, this is like the I'm dead inside because you just said that when I was trying to get a confession to happen, you know.
Yeah. And yet, when I make this face, and this is me inserting a little bit.
Okay.
When I make this face, the raised eyebrow is the part that where she's like, I don't think this part of you is lame. Or it's the, I think this part of you isn't necessarily that cool, but I also don't think it's lame. There's that little bit of interest there. And I really like the transition of her having what he would call is probably like the hag, the
hag face,
to the I'm going to do the tuck the hair behind the thing here, and then like I'm gonna come as close as I can to giving you the confession thing there. But then she chickens out and she walks past him. Yep. And look at him. He's just like frozen the whole way through that.
Like, what? Is she going to come up and kiss me? Oh, no. She just walked past me. Okay, wait. But hold on. If she's walking down, what?
Yeah. So I just would have loved to know what was going on in his head once she said, I don't think it's lame, though. Mm-hmm. Because I think that once she gave that face, she was like, contain yourself. Contain yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, because that's just.
And the thing is that she might have realized actually that when he said it's like I'm watching the last episode of an anime I really like, then that was probably his equivalent of a confession.
It was
because
exactly
because it's the when you love something,
right,
and then suddenly it's gonna be over, and you're like, no, I don't want it to end. I wanted it to go on forever.
Yep.
Oh, and then you enter the void because you realize your life won't be the same without it. Kind of, it's like, yeah. But watching an anime,
this is really sweet. This is really good.
Great episode.
Yeah. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this OVA reaction and discussion. If you want to see the final OVA reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.